Peace, family, peace. This is Minister Kojo from Shabazz Associates and HawabDFW.org. Also, ARNA, ARNA Government.org is one of the jurists. But basically, you had purchased a tribal driver's license or international driver's license. And so I want to just kind of walk you through some of the processes and procedures and things of that nature of what you need to do and what you need to understand as a national operating these credentials. It's very important that you have things in line and straightened out. So we're going to dive into my screen. Okay, make sure that's that. Yeah, so a couple of things when just driving and just operations, right? Things you're going to need to have on you in your car, in your person while you're traveling. Your Aboriginal license, whether the tribal one or international one. You're going to want to have the international notice to the police officers that you can find in the protocol manual. And we'll go through what that actually looks like and where you can actually find that. Non-resident affidavit that you should have gotten notarized and authenticated. And then your title registered to your Aboriginal business or to your updated name once you actually got, court order name change and things of that nature. And it doesn't hurt to have your regular driver's license updated to your indigenous name, just in case you want to purchase like firearms and stuff like that. Also, you want to have your insurance updated to your Aboriginal business or to your indigenous status, and then just make sure that the plates match up to your indigenous status, right? So these are the things you're going to need, okay? First things first is also you're going to want to have is the rules of interaction with police officers. It's very, 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 very important. I'm telling you, very, very important. So when you're interfacing with a police officer and they ask you to identify yourself, you want to provide with your ARNA national. Let's say for example, you're walking right, and the officer I asked you to identify yourself. You can use your ARNA member ID, right? That's good enough. But when we're talking about operating a motor vehicle, you need to be using your tribal driver's license. And if you don't have one, if you don't qualify one, you should not be using your ARNA member ID to identify yourself when you're moving in the land vessel. Okay. Um, and the other thing is when you're interacting with them, you don't know what it is that they're charging you that you violated. So, don't do anything to trigger the officer is the important thing. The other thing is that if the officer asks you for your state ID that was issued to you, you just need to state that you are part of an indigenous government. You're an indigenous American that's part of a tribal government, and you provided your official government license and ID. Then the officer says if he has a problem with it, all you need to do is remain silent, and then you need to ask if you can speak to his superior. And then at the same time, before you get pulled over, you need to call your local minister just in case something does happen, and just send communication via text, phone call, your local chief minister, whoever is in your local jurisdiction. Or if you need to go outside of that, contact somebody who knows exactly the procedures, right? Give them your location, time, and just what is the situation, right? If the officer asks you to hang up the phone, just hang up the phone and then just start recording using voice memo so that you have some type of evidence, just in case if it does escalate to that point. Okay, number 5, you want to, if the officer superior is present, just explain who you are and just focus on these 3 points. Indigenous American, that's a national part of a tribal government. That's it. Don't complicate it. Very simple. And if the officers attempt to arrest you, don't resist. Just ask if you can be handcuffed in the front. Request that cuffs be placed in the front. Do not allow yourself to be handcuffed in the back without causing some type of injury. Okay. You just want to make sure that these situations are calm and that you don't try to aggravate them. Right. Just concede that you're being, you were put on a threat and coercion, so you did what you needed to do. Now, the other thing is that you want to make sure when you get to the station that you reserve all your rights if you were taken to the station. and things of that nature. So you kind of get the idea. The idea is that, if they're going to give you a ticket, just ask them to give you the ticket and then keep it moving. And then we can get that thing dismissed. But the idea is that you just want to make sure that you do things in a methodical way without yelling, being loud, and all sort of stuff. You don't want to do that because that's going to cause issues. Okay. Remember, you're operating a tribal credential, a tribal driver's license. So you want to make sure that you utilize it correctly. Otherwise, we will revoke it. And that's why you're able to have one, because you have a clean record. You're not doing anything crazy. You're not doing some sovereign citizen stuff. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So this is what this looks like, right? Your tribal driver's license. There's an international one that's red. But these are the things you want to have, make sure that are in order. And then when you're filling out the application for the DMV stuff to update your stuff, you can place it under your indigenous business where you're not taxed and things of that nature. Some states have certain requirements, but it just depends. So this is a general one for like Texas, but they ask these similar questions. And so there's a particular way of filling it out, right? Again, same thing with the application. Now, here's the other thing that you want to have on your person, in your vehicle, is this is the international notice that we were talking about. To all officers, citizens of the United States. These are the laws that they're subjugated to. So you want to have these always, you want to have this document always on you. And if you're interfacing with the officer, you can always hand them this and just, make sure that they are aware and they were put on notice of what they're doing if they decide to do something. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that makes sense. Again, this is just kind of going through with the specific laws that apply to them, right? So if they violate any of these laws, they're in serious, serious trouble. So again, this is just kind of and then this is the affidavit that you should have gotten in the email, that would be filled out for you. All you would need to do is just make sure you get this notarized and authenticated, and then you're done. And then keep this in your vehicle, right? Always make copies of this. Have the other one scanned in so that you can just print out carbon copies. And once you have that, you're good to go. You should have received a link, maybe or a link to say that you watched the video, you read the email, you understand the instructions, and it's kind of a quiz. And once you've done that, you're good to go. Any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. That's what we're here for. And we'll see you next time, family. Peace.